Welcome back to Gravitas. Part of our focus tonight is on the role played by social media in our modern times. In what appears to be a crackdown by state security agencies, 4 social media activists have been forcibly abducted in less than a week, raising concerns of shrinking digital media space in Pakistan. More on this report by Taha Siddiqui, WION's Pakistan Bureau Chief.
Pakistan's bustling port city of Karachi has seen protests of every kind. On Monday afternoon, it was the turn of journalists, activists, and families to demand the release of some of their own, missing since last week, abducted apparently by the security agencies. They are 4 in number: Waqas Guraya, Asim Saeed, Salman Haider, and Ahmad Raza Nasir. All are prominent social media activists missing from different parts of Pakistan. All are known for their critical views on the Pakistan military and its policies. They have been especially critical about religious militancy and extremism.
इस प्रोटेस्ट में हमारी डिमांड ये है कि सलमान हैदर और उसके साथ जो 3 और लोग मिसिंग हैं, जो उठाए गए हैं, जिनका अभी तक कोई पता नहीं चला, उनको फौरी तौर पे बाजियाब किया जाए और उनके साथ जितने भी बलूचिस्तान और सिंध से लोग उठाए गए हैं रियासत की तरफ से, उनको लाया जाए।
ये बात किसी की ढकी छुपी नहीं है कि ये अगवा इस्लामाबाद में होना ये एजेंसियों का ही काम नहीं हो सकता। हुकूमत का हमें इन्वेस्टिगेट करे, लेकिन सबसे पहली बात ये लोगों को सामने लाया जाए। इन्होंने अगर कोई जुर्म किया, इनको अदालतों में पेश किया जाए। वो कानून भी ख़त्म हो चुका है, पाकिस्तान प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट, जिसके तहत ये लोगों को उठा के बंद कर देते।
Following the disappearance of these individuals, some parliamentarians have also expressed their concern and have filed a call for attention notice in Parliament. The notice says the patterns of these disappearances suggest a coordinated action to silence critical voices in Pakistan. According to reports, the police are yet to make any breakthrough into their disappearance, although the Interior Ministry has held out assurances. As usual, the mainstream media has remained largely silent about these disappearances. However, activists have taken to the social media, and hashtags urging the government to recover these activists have been trending in the country for the past 24 hours. Salman Haider, who is a professor at a local university in Islamabad, is well known for his poem Kafir, which means infidel in the Urdu language. The poem highlights growing religious intolerance in Pakistani society. Digital rights activists feel that the Pakistani state is now moving into its second phase of censoring dissent after successfully controlling mainstream media in the last few years.
A lot of pressure, especially in the digital space these days, to self-censor. It was something that we saw in the media with journalists being, picked up or killed. Now we're seeing that happening to bloggers and to activists that essentially use the social media for all their work.
Pakistan ranks among the bottom 10 countries for supporting free speech, a global freedom of speech index recently revealed. In Islamabad, Taha Siddiqui, WION.
Excesses by security agencies is not a new phenomena and not one endemic to just Pakistan. But the nature of this latest incident in the country demands investigation. To talk more about the issue, I'm joined on the phone line by WION's Pakistan Bureau Chief Taha Siddiqui, who brought us this report. Also with us from Lahore, Shamla Khan, who is a digital rights activist. Thank you both for speaking with us. Taha, let me come to you first. What is it that you're hearing about the status of these activists?
Well, right now, their families have all registered FIRs with the police. So the police and the Interior Ministry have said that they're also looking into it. The Interior Minister, at a press conference when he was asked by some reporters about it, he responded that we are also investigating, but he only talked about Salman, not the rest of them. So the rest 3, the police, the families, I'm in touch with the families, and the families have filed an FIR, but the police have just said that they're missing right now, and we have no known whereabouts of them. Even though in all of the reports that are filed with the police, the family members have outlined how these people were picked up. For example, in one of the cases, there were these vehicles which were 4-wheelers that came to a house, and in front of her father and other relatives, one of the activists was picked up by people forcibly. But despite that, police has taken no action as yet.
Shmaila, I pronounced your name earlier wrong, but does news of their disappearances come as a surprise to you?
No, unfortunately it does not come as a surprise because in 2016 we saw the passage of the Prevention of Electronic Crimes Act, which was commonly known as the Cybercrime Bill, and that sort of signaled the intent of sort of the trend of digital rights within Pakistan. So it was a lot of digital rights activists have been predicting this for the past year, that there is going to be a clampdown on speech in digital spaces, because it seems that electronic spaces have slowly been they've been told to follow the mainstream line to a certain extent. We have PEMRA, which is the regulatory agency, which sort of makes sure that the narrative in the mainstream electronic media remains a particular way. But now we've seen that this sort of turn is coming towards digital spaces as well, and it's no coincidence that it happened immediately months after the Cybercrime Act was passed.
Sure.
So yeah.
Sure. Taha, what is the nature of their social media activities, and how much of a bone in the establishment side are their views?
Well, we've seen that, if you look at the internet penetration in Pakistan, it's not that high. It's very, very small compared to the population. It's less than 20%. But there has been an exponential rise in internet usage with the advent of cheap telephones and cheap mobile networks also. And given that, we've seen that in the past elections in 2013, two of the main parties, they also use the social media a lot, and politicians have a lot of followers in Pakistan. So the digital space is becoming very important for the authorities, and we're seeing, as the other participant is mentioning, we're seeing that after this sort of control and this censorship on mainstream media, now the state seems to be moving towards digital media because it thinks it's important to control the narrative there too.
Shmaila, let me ask you, the state in Pakistan can be fairly high-handed, and they're very well networked. The networks, the intelligence networks are very, very active. With that as the background, do you think they will let social media activists, or digital right activists as you call them, survive through this? Or do you think they'll be able to come down harshly against these groups and people specifically?
I think this is a trend. This is an unfortunate trend that we've seen all over the world, and especially in South Asia, we've seen bloggers being subjected to violence,
Sure.
And that does have a chilling effect on the speech in these digital realms. I mean, activists here, not just digital activists, but everybody in Lahore, I think, that we've been talking to and discussing this with, have started to take precautions online. They've started to self-censor, and everybody's sort of starting to think twice before they write something online. And I think it's had a huge psychological impact. And we talk about the chilling effect when it comes to free speech. It's most of the time it's not everybody will be abducted, or not everybody will be tried in under this new act, but it does create an atmosphere where there is everybody now, there's a there's a understanding that some topics are no-goes, and there were spaces in social media where they were still being discussed, but I think they will shrink immediately and after these unfortunate events.
Taha, have there been any reactions to this news from the Pakistani government yet?
Well, we've seen that the Interior Ministry issued a statement, and the Interior Minister also responded to a question at a press conference about it. But more or less, we're seeing silence from the government quarters on television. They haven't been talking about this. There's some defense analysts that I saw talking about it and actually defending this sort of method and this procedure, and even mocking the Constitution. I mean, there was this television show where there was this retired military person that was talking about how this is necessary in time of need, and he even referred to the sectarian sort of bit of aspect of it, because one of the bloggers is from the Shiite minority. So in that sense, from the government, we don't see any interest in making any recoveries or pressurizing the powers to be to sort of release these people as of yet.
Shmaila, are you concerned about your own safety in the light of this development?
I think there are a lot of people that I've spoken to who are probably much more prominent online than me, who are I know people who deactivated their accounts. I know people are taking precautions in terms of their digital security, using encrypted methods and making sure that their communications are safe. And I think that's precautions that I have also started to take. Yeah, it's a concern for everybody involved, and especially now that people are mobilizing against. The news report also mentioned protests, and a lot of people are taking measures to make sure that this locations are not given, and activists are now becoming. I think maybe through this they will start to become more aware of the digital security, hopefully. And what we're trying to do with our activism is to make sure that the voices are not silenced, but people act responsibly online in terms of their location or the information that they're revealing.
Are people afraid of bringing these concerns out in the open, or has the community rallied in the light of these disappearances?
Well, yeah, as we're seeing that there has been, I've been talking to a lot of activists today when I wanted to interview a lot of people, and even one of the families that I'm in touch with, they all are saying that they do not want to sort of talk about it, or at times they say that these protests that are happening, like for example, there's one organized tomorrow. There's a protest in Islamabad organized for tomorrow, one for Thursday for Lahore. So there are these protests happening across the cities, but they're also with the protests. I was part of one of the organizing groups. And when I was seeing them discussing about how they want to protest, they're basically also within those protests they want to self-censor themselves. So there is definitely a lot of fear right now, because it's just been around about 4 days since these bloggers have gone missing, these activists have gone missing, and other people are disappearing from online also, like deactivating their accounts. So there is a lot of sense of fear right now in Pakistan amongst the digital community.
All right, let's hope these people are found safe and sound, and the space for dissenting voices in Pakistan expands. Taha and Shamla, thank you for helping us understand and bringing perspective to this story. One of the things that if you are a social media rights activist, what you have to do is probably use a VPN, or you could hide your location. Obviously, like she was mentioning, you could also hide behind a firewall to get your message out, because certainly democracy cannot be stuck behind governments. Democracies exist for people, and they're run by the people and for the people. We're going to take a break now. When we come back, we open up the conversation on the murky slave trade of young boys in Afghanistan. Stay with us.